We're going live now with the second episode of Under the Scope for ESN Esports. How you doing, Dualism?
I've just about recovered from this last week. How about
You know what? I've had an alright week. I'm pretty tired, to be honest, but going into the weekend, it's nice doing it on a Friday night. You had a long, hard week. And you get to have a nice, relaxing weekend. I mean, there's been highlights to the week, such as Smith's finally being kicked from G2, which is going to be our opening topic. Jax and Lucky form a duo of 3D Max joining G2 for Smiths and Existence. And I would hand over to Julia's on this one because this is her field of expertise, but she might be little bit one-sided on the Smiths agenda, but let's go. Right, thoughts, Dualism. Lucky and Jax. Let's start with them. Before we talk about Smiths and Existence, start with Lucky and Jax. What do you think about these two?
Well, it is about time that the French scene at the top end takes a bit of a chance on some people that haven't really played
Yeah.
in the same 15 or so names that have rotated in and out of the big teams. But I do think they're, let's say, interesting choices.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you completely. I think that instead of rehashing old teams and recycling different talents around, they do need to bring in new talents. Whether Lucky and Jax are the right people, I'm not sure. I mean, I wrote an article which you should definitely check out where I discussed the move, and I see like Lucky, one of Lucky or Jax has only played one LAN in his entire career, and that was the EU minor. And then the other ones played a couple of domestic LANs. I think it was Jax who's played the domestic LANs. But then, they've got no LAN experience. They've got no proper experience against any decent organised team. Now they're trying to get chucked in by shocks with the best players in the French scene to try and like revitalise the team and get them playing against top tier opposition. Like it just seems a bit unrealistic to me.
I think the problem with Shocks, I think it's the same reason that Body left the team instead of Existence, despite the fact they obviously wanted to keep Existence in
Right.
favour of Body, but take away all of his leadership skills, so the main reason he wanted.
Exactly.
But I think Shocks sees himself as like this IGL who can raise all this amazing young talent and like revitalise the French scene single-handedly. Because and he was the one who claims he discovered Body and thought he'd be amazing for G2. So I think that he's a bit like, oh, well, if I just pick it, I can't do a French accent, so I'm not going to try. But he's like, oh, if we pick up these other random unknown French guys, everyone can give me credit when they're amazing, even if they're not.
Yeah, I mean, I just think Existence, as you say, is just that guy who's like, right, I'm going to get new talent into G2. I'm going to be the leader. I've got this project now. We don't have enough firepower, so maybe we should swap out Smith's guys. Because he said in the tweet longer, oh, I think there should be just one change. He thought Smith should go, like everyone else. Sorry, we'll move on to Smiths in a minute because I know that you're probably going to have a rant. But he knew that Smiths needed to go because the team needed a bit of decent firepower. But he's literally, the team were like, yeah, you can stay over Body. And he's like, oh, hey, great. Only catch is, the thing that's made you great, which is in-game leading, yeah, you can't do that. You just have to you have to play support roles. Like, what is he going to say yes to that? There's no logic in that. You've got a support player and you've got an IGL. It's like Carrigan in phase. It makes no sense to me.
But at least, like, the thing with the whole... I've lost my train of thought. Oh, yeah, yeah. With Existence and replacing Body, he even said to himself that the only reason that he'd want to do that is in order to steal paychecks, essentially, for the next however many months. He himself saw how ridiculous it was. It's not like he went, well, I'm capable of doing it, but I just didn't think it was right for me. No, he literally said, no, I think G2 are mental for trying to make me do it, but okay.
Oh, well, yeah. He's just like, well, it's free money, in it. I mean, I think you're moving on. As I say, Jackson Lucky, I think they're not competent at all. They've got a bit of experience at tier 3, no proper experience on LAN, no proper experience against actual teams, and stat padding against tier 4 online teams does not make you warrant a spot in France's supposedly best team. And now we're going to move on to the best part of the move. I will let you go first. Smith has been removed from G2.
Yes, he has.
Go. Just unleash. Let out you release your
No,
sorrows.
the thing is, no. The thing is, right. How do I begin? The fact that he himself, in his twit longer and everything, has kind of said how he wasn't happy when he came back to playing, and he never kind of had that sense of confidence, or he wasn't comfortable in the team. I
Yeah.
think you do kind of say, well, it's almost then the stats are almost half the story then, when sure, yeah, he underperformed, but if he actually never really felt that confident, of course he's underperforming. And the fact that everybody's there looking at his stats, going, "Oh, Smith, he's not doing very well." Well, of course he's just going to be like, "Oh, do you know what? This isn't worth it. Even though I want to be doing it, it's clearly not right for me."
Yeah, I'm not saying that Smith is a good player or a bad player, but I'm just saying if you look at the statistics and if you look at what even existence is implying, the team didn't have a lot of confidence in him. He didn't have a lot of confidence in himself, and that was showing on the scoreboard. And I think he was hurting G2. I feel like Smith would be better if he was in a team where it was Orpry and he was allowed to, have a bit of flash to him. But he was in a team where he was forced to be a supportive rifler with Body. Him and Body was sort of like, right, we want you to like one of you to support and one of you to be the third fragger. Actually, both of you do both. Just split half and half on both. That's what it looked like to me, because it never looked like Body was doing his whole proper support role. Never looked like Smith was doing a proper support role. It looked like both were trying to get kills and both were trying to support at the same time. I mean, I think that that's never going to work because you're forcing Smith away from his comfort zone, and it's just no. Go on.
And I think with Body, the fact that they kind of initially, at least, were implying that he was meant to be a third star, you just kind of go, wait a minute. You've spent the last, 2 years trying to build up this young talent as a solid enough
Support
anchor,
player.
support
Yeah,
player.
the B
Yeah,
anchor. He's a good B
yeah,
anchor.
yeah. You're trying to make him that, and then suddenly you go, do you want to just suddenly become like this mad
Yeah.
star fragger that
Now
you've
that
never
you've
shown any potential to do? Like you're sort of you're a decent, solid enough rifler, but not as a firepower source. No, go and just frag out your mind because we've got Smiths in existence, so we're dragging along for the ride.
Yeah. Body, you know that role that you've never done in your life? The role that I've never shown any competence playing. You're just going to do that for us now. Yeah, you're going to be the third fragger. Oh, what? You've never been able to get proper fraggers against like tier 4 teams online because you're a support player. You've been forced into a role where you're not set up space. Well, now you've got space and you have to do it against top tier teams. How's that going to work? I've always said it. Body's best role is when he is playing like Taco, he's playing like Stiko. He does not care about his stats. He's there for helping his team, right? That is how Body has always played best. The best Body we have seen was in the inverted commas super team with MBK and Apex. Whereas like, Apex can be the entry fragger, so you don't have to worry about that Body, but we want you to be staying back, throwing nades, want you to go in and dying with Apex. Apex is the best entry fragger in the French scene, and I feel like
That's not really a competition, though, is it?
it's true.
You know.
I think Apex is a solid fragger.
He is, but he's very, because of his style. There's a reason that Shox kind of butted heads with him, because the problem with Apex is, doesn't matter what you've told him, doesn't matter what you want to do, he will run in because he has no fear of whatever's on the other side. But then that does mean that if you're relying on him to do something, chances are he either does it, goes mad, gets his 3 kills and is doing amazingly, or he runs out, dies, runs out, dies, runs out, dies.
Yeah.
And he's a player that gets very heated. So you also think that must be really annoying that you're saying to him, right, okay, what we're going to try and do is this. He runs out and then he's literally just not kind of, how do I put it, responding positively to what's going on around.
Well, I mean, as I said, the main going back to G2 anyway, because we've sidetracked a little bit talking about Apex. Like the main problem with that lineup was firepower. There was not enough firepower. Smiths and Body were kind of expected to be like joint third fraggers, and that's obviously not going to work because one's an AWP and one's a support player. But I blame Existence for that partially because he's obviously setting up this team.
But
how much was Shox's input?
I was going to say, Shox was the one that wanted the team to exist. And
Shox's project.
Had that vision. Yeah, I was going to say, it was always Shox's project. And even though Existence came in and was obviously IGLing, I'm pretty sure Shox was still calling himself the captain of G2. And when
You cut out. I can't hear you. You might be able to say it on the stream.
To Existence and say, you're the leader, let's discuss. They just went, okay, Shox, because we obviously have a rep with you and you're our star guy who's you know, the captain, we're going to talk to you.
Yeah. As I say, I think Smith was undermined in his time in G2. As you say, when you said about how Shock saying he's the captain, for like Existence, they never really, team really never had much faith in Existence. I don't think. I think it was just sort of like they're like, well, Existence is Existence, but we are Shock's boys, and Shock's got us together into these 20k a month contracts until 2020. Wee. So I just feel like, oh, I'm Body, and Shocks gave me an opportunity. I love him. I'm Kenny S, and I love Shocks because he's the best star player in France who will help me win majors again. And then exist.
Whoa, just to jump in though, Body didn't even have faith in this project. He was the one that didn't want this to happen. When all of the other four agreed, ex-dealer suddenly goes, "Oh no, I don't have faith in that team." It's a bit like, sorry, what?
Yeah.
You're the one that should really not be on this team. In the sense,
you're the nobody, Body.
Yeah, I was gonna say, Body, you are not linked to anybody else. You have Smith, who's Shox' best friend. You have Existence, the IGL, Kenny, the AWPer, and who are you, Body? Who are you? They could have brought in another young French talent and just said, "Do you know what, Body? You've not really lived up to expectations. We're just going to bring in somebody else." But he's there like, "No, I don't play on that team. No, I want to try it with MBK. Oh, they've gone. Never mind. I'll play with the Shocks."
MBK messaged him like, "Yo, you remember that Vitality offer? Well, we kind of got Zyru, so you're not involved." Body's like, "Right, there's only one solution now. I'm going to go to G2. But even if they'd say kept Smith and got rid of Body, like, what would that have done? Let Smith be the support player. That would have been perfect for you, wouldn't it? Because it would have been like, oh, Smith has got a 0.7 rating again. Yeah, but he's a support player, so you can't have a go at him. Smith has got a 0.7 rating again. Oh, he's a support player. Oh,
Look, you can't overrate that lovely team chemistry. It doesn't matter what happens on the server. It's like all about the good vibe.
That's fair enough, you know. Esports is magic, and all here we are experiencing it together. Smith and Shocks just having a good time. Shocks had a bit too much wine and now he's got back on the leading grind. What do you think about that?
I hate it so much. They just lost to Bravado, just like Optic did. They've just lost.
Bravado.
Do you know what? If they lose to Ents, you go, fair enough. Well, that makes sense.
To be fair,
they won, so I was like, brilliant. Okay, maybe G2
Ents
aren't
through though.
like
Ents choked. I wouldn't pin that loss.
Say that wasn't G2 suddenly going,
but,
"Oh, should we
to be
better
fair,
see it?"
On Dust 2 though, I think people are a bit harsh about that because Dust 2 is a very like one-sided map. If one team has a good half on CT, the other team has a good half on CT, but vice versa for T as well. So I feel like when Ants has a good half, it's you either get 16-0s or 16-14s on Dust 2. And once GT started picking up rounds, it was clear that it was going to go the other way. So I kind of feel bad for Ants to an extent, but you can't be up that many rounds and then lose it. Just saying.
But let's remember, G2 used to be a pretty solid nuke team. Like you wouldn't.
Oh god, yeah.
Unless you were a stronger nuke team. 2. Yeah, but against Bravado, they decided to play nuke and they still lost.
Wait, they lost to nuke to Bravado. Hold up.
They lost it 13-16.
I'm very.
They had a 9-round CT half.
9.
Yeah.
It was a best of 1, right? The banned Train, that's their perma ban. They banned Dust 2 as their second ban. They left Dust 2 until the end last time. Then they banned Inferno, that's fair enough. They had 9 rounds on CT. Top fragger was, funnily enough, Jack, so prove me wrong there. Kenny S, 19-20. Body got more kills than Lucky, that's when you know something's going wrong for you.
He got more than Shocks. Shocks is there chilling at the bottom of the leaderboard.
He had more kills than Lucky, though.
Good job.
Lucky.
Yeah, but his impact's low.
Yeah. It's 0.0 to 0.01.
He's literally, he only had 50% of rounds where he got
51.7
survived or traded. That's 10% less than Lucky. So do you know what? At least Lucky was, dying and getting traded or saving or doing whatever he.
Shocks just has no significance when he's the IGL. I said in my article, Shocks coming IGL will just hamper his individual performance. You've got Shocks going to hamper his individual performance. Like, what are you doing, son?
He did. Well, it was the Legends. Was it the Challenger or Legend stage of Boston when suddenly G2 looked like they were pretty good.
That 3-0,
MBK went ham in one. Yeah, I was gonna say MBK went ham in one stage, and then Shock suddenly came out of nowhere and did amazingly in one of the other stages. So he is capable of fragging out of his mind when he's IGL. It just really doesn't happen very often.
Yeah, I mean, you can't. It's like Alan Hutton at Aston Villa. He's a one-game a season player. There's no point. If you're going to be the RGL and say, "Well, I did a good job this game," well, that game was probably 3 months ago, so shut up, Shocks. Like he's. I think this G2 team is. If people thought the last one was bad, like, oh god, Shocks RGLing, two complete unknowns. Like, oh my god, Kenny is still underperforming as well.
I do wonder what the hell is going through their minds, because if we just talk in terms of money, because obviously, yeah, G2 is a business. Fair enough, you want your teams to be going out and earning Skrilla. They obviously had those new fancy jerseys, which were quite. You now have a Belgian jersey that you've then got to sell quite quickly, unless you're going to bring in Scream. So you've got that fun. You then. They earned about $60,000 in the 6 months they were together, in terms of prize money.
So yeah, I don't blame Ocelot for making moves, but I do think his Twitter thing was just like no words to describe the disappointment generated by our CS:GO team and all that stuff. Like,
I do think that's
a bit too far. Yeah, that's too far, isn't it?
Because I do think that if you're a player, you know when you've performed badly. If you get knocked out in the before the playoffs of a major or whatever, or you don't even make it out of the groups of an event, you know that that's a bad result. You do not need the CEO of your org basically going, "Oh, you're dog shit," because it's just like, yeah, mate, thanks for the.
The worst thing that you can have when you make a mistake or you're not feeling great or whatever is someone telling you. It's someone knocking you down further, isn't it? You just don't need that. It's the worst possible thing. You want someone to try and prop you up a bit. You don't.
No. I disagree with that, though. I do think, fair enough, if Carlos is annoyed, which he has every right to be because his team is not his
business
team isn't performing. Yeah, you get them on the phone, or you say to them, right, we're going to talk. Then feel free to unleash and say, you guys are not performing. You guys need to sort yourselves out. Blah blah blah. Don't do it publicly where you essentially look like one of the angry bettors that's lost money because you're there going, "Oh my god, G2 are shit." Because actually, your team's going to just go onto Twitter, hoping for maybe a little bit of support from the fans, just saying, they're there.
Smith's reading, retire idiot.
I was going to say, just bot Smith's about 1,000 tweets. He's like,
Yole noobs.
Yeah, and he's like, "Oh, that's cute. Yeah, thanks for that, lads." Yeah, and then he's scrolling. He sees Yole noob, and then just sees his, org CEO going, "Oh my god, my team is crap." And he's like, "Oh, okay, thanks. That's great. I'd have thought I'd get support from the person that pays my wages, but no.
Alright, so we're going to go for a resounding thumbs down on G2.
Yes.
Alright, I'll join you in that. Last episode we were talking about live while Liquid got stomped by NRG at ESN Season 6. They've actually performed the reverse, whatever. Today, as they've beat them 2-1 at Supernova CSGO Malta, but we're not going to talk about that because talking about ongoing tournaments will probably be a bit janky. But Astralis won ECS Season 6.
Who would have seen it coming?
Pretends to be shocked.
Insert that shocked Pikachu image.
Yeah, literally. I mean, it's just they were playing quite well as well, weren't they?
They lost to MIBR early on, and everyone kind of went, "Oh, this is it." They're like, "This is the return. This is the return of the Brazilian. Astralis are dead. Astralis era. No, it's gone."
coldzera.
What about coldzera? Oh, he lost. Fair enough.
The man, the myth, he's lost. Literally, that is the best Vince casting line. The man, the myth, the beast. Oh, that is the most hyped casting. It's like a DreamHack Open event where coldzera's just like the 1v4 against Mousesports on Mirage B-side. That was a nutty clutch. And Vince is like, "Oh, coldzera, the man, the myth, the beast." Oh, it's great casting. I'm going to stop sidetracking though. So Astralis dropped best of 3 to MIBR. Fair enough. Thorin said that they had potential to do it. Duncan coming through again. But yeah, Astralis beat MIBR in the final, and that was that.
It was close, though. We can all say, well, they certainly tried. At least they didn't get stomped like certain other teams in best of 3s against Astralis recently.
At least we don't have to cut overaged, useless Orpus. Sorry, I'm a Liquid fan, so I just took a bit of personal offence. Anyway.
It's fine because you know what? At least G2 have won a LAN in the last 2 years. Suckers.
Yeah, okay. Well, to be honest, CS:GO Malta, that's the best chance they've got. There's about 6 tier 3.
Oh, they'll find a way to choke it.
Oh, they will. It'll be big, won't it? They'll choke against big and Smee will start screaming.
They'll choke against Bravado. Bravado are making the fight. They're
Bravado
going to fly
will
over. They're just going to fly over and go, we're a surprise entrant. And we are suddenly here just to ruin Team Liquid's
Liquid are
life.
it's like looking at like 15 down. It's 5v1. The last person left alive. Bravado player disconnects from the server. Connects Smith's 1v5s. Smith just 1v5s Liquid and they managed to choke every round. It's 15-0 to Liquid going into the pistol round, and Smith is standing in for Bravado 1v5, 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 and it's 15-15.
Easy.
Easy.
I did say, do you know what? What did I say? I said G2 will easily win DreamHack Winter if they're still playing with the Existence and Smith's lineup, because it will be one of those. The thing is, I was saying it sort of ironically, but it's the sort of thing where when a team has nothing to lose and they know that they're reaching the end of their lifespan, you can pull off some insane stuff because you're not really caring all that much.
Yeah.
But then, they removed him, and now look, they moved to Bravado.
Imagine banning Nuke. Sorry. G2 banning Nuke, I'm never going to understand that. To be honest, I think they played against... Who was it they banned Nuke against? The one they played against Ents, yeah. Ents are decent Nuke teams, to be fair. I think they played against Heroic at Star Series, and they did a good game on that.
Ents are just a solid team overall.
Everyone loves a bit of Ents. If I had Sunny for, like, X7, like, I love all the players, and their X7's great, but the only one that matches at role-wise is X7, so let's say they got Sunny over X7, that's top 5 team. Probably. Actually, I'll extend that to top 10.
I was about to say that's very optimistic.
You know, easy for Ents, but top 10 easy for Ents. Okay, Astralis win ECS Season 6. Do you reckon they're going to win the next couple of tournaments they have in 2018?
I mean, isn't the first one going to be the major? Other than
no, it's the EPL finals, isn't it?
Oh, okay, yeah. So they've got that hometown.
Yeah.
They should be able to win it.
The thing is, it all depends on who they come up against in the final. If it's Liquid, yeah, they've won. If it's anyone else, then they've won. So yeah, they've won.
What the hell was that?
No.
If they come up against Liquid, they win. That's a real heads I win, tails you lose situation.
Well, yeah, that's literally it for Liquid, you know. Lolquid. I would talk about Liquid, but I don't really want to talk about them while they're in the middle of a tournament, because the second I would say anything negative about them, they'd win the tournament, and I'd feel really guilty. And the next week, you'd laugh at me for the entire podcast. So I'm just gonna I'm just gonna keep my mouth shut on the Liquid front for now. I think it's a wise idea.
Well, do you know, look, I will say one thing. At least Twists, even though he's got his health issues, I'm glad that he seems to have at least kind of recovered.
I don't know
a bit
if I'm really allowed to say this. I think I'm allowed to say this. It's not really a secret thing, but it's never been made properly public. He has IBS, irritable bowel syndrome, for people who don't know what that is, and he has it pretty bad. So, kind of in a lot of pain. He's on medication. He sees doctors quite frequently. But if he needs to go to the toilet in the middle of the game, that's why there's a lot of technical timeouts when Liquid play, because he often has to go. I feel horrible for him. It's a horrible disease, and it's incurable. It is incurable.
Yeah, you can manage symptoms to an extent, but it isn't something you can just deal with.
Oh god, yeah, it's horrible. But he is one of the brightest talents North America has ever and probably will ever produce.
I was going to say, I am currently writing an end of the year article where I'm looking at how, with HLTV, they do a top 20 every year of.
Are you doing your own top 20?
No, I'm not doing a top 20. I'm doing something better. Each player on that top 20 list says who they think will be a rising talent or will do well in the next year. And I think it was something like 5 or 6 players of 2017 said Twists. The majority of players that shared an answer said Twists. It was Twists and people said Rops, Starvin.
Cirque and Sergey were on there, I think.
Yeah. So there are a few, and a lot of people are saying him. So I'm kind of doing an article looking at all of the players that got mentioned, and kind of looking at how did their year actually go. Let's see
So I've seen a few
who
people do it.
found an interesting talent.
I liken that. You can read that on RealSport101.com, or if you're too lazy to do that, follow twitter.com/Dualism97 and she'll tweet it out when she goes live. There you go. It's in the description and you've already got plugged anyway, verbally.
My thank you, my thank you.
Well, no
But yes,
problem.
Bolts, Elige, Dupree, and Kenny S. So not even American, like it wasn't all American players. It was a good mixture. 4 of them all said Twists to be the most interesting player to watch this year. The second most mentioned player was Electronic.
And 2018, the first one mentioned player, Smith. Smith's next year major MVP.
Smith's the phase. You heard it here first.
Oh yeah, yeah. Okay, so we talked about Astralis, kind of sidetracked because who doesn't want to sidetrack on a podcast? Mibba/Immortals have released Ricardo Bolt's Press. You look at that.
What has Bolts been doing for the last 6 months?
He's been playing with mixed teams doing online qualifiers.
He's living the dream.
Have you heard him communicating like the FPL videos and he's like whispering of course, "Are you alive anywhere?" Have you heard that? It's really funny.
No, I haven't.
Jason R made a meme about it and he got downvoted and like lost a lot of his subs. Not like the time when he kicked him. Well, yeah, that's pretty much known. Well,
yeah, I was gonna say
if you're gonna ban all known girls from your chat,
not just ban girls. You look at someone's name and you go, okay, they have a female sounding name. You're banned. How embarrassing if you're a dude and you just get banned and you're like, oh, I wonder why Jason R.
Imagine donating
£100
and then getting your name banned. Yeah.
That would I laugh at that because I've never watched a Jason R stream, mainly because
I've watched the videos of him, like the compilation videos by like Superstim and that because they're funny. But I've never actually sat down and watched the stream.
I was gonna say
because those highlight videos happen once in every 10 streams. So.
I was gonna say
I'm Jason R. Let me whack my chair.
Let me do a zoom in on my face. Look at my funny face. I'm so funny. Yeah. Just not my sort of thing. If you like Jason R, good for you.
I know a really good streamer actually. I'm gonna plug them right now. Twitch.tv/D0M_CSGO does some quality streams in.
I hear they're a Brexiteer though, so that's gonna with the 60 alt-right racist
60 FPS Golden over 2 gameplay. You know, I was playing a matchmaking because you mentioned Brexit, and me and these UK guys on my NMM just spent the entire game spamming Brexit means Brexit in the chat. Because, you know, Brexit does mean Brexit.
Brexit does mean Brexit, we just don't know what Brexit means. That's
hello means hello, but what does hello mean?
Precisely. It's like, so, if Brexit means Brexit, it's like some sort of deep philosophical...
Yeah.
So, is it in the same way, like, you know, it could be on a wall in a classroom in like 50 years' time.
So from
once
Bolts
the apocalypse
to Brexit,
is done.
Yeah. Well, Brexit, you know. Speaking of apocalypse, Brexit. Now, joking. We're not going to get political because if we get political, there will undoubtedly be an argument because you're at university, therefore you're a Labour supporter. Sorry. Bolts has been released from his Mibba contract. Do you think he's a good player? Do you think he deserves a new team?
A, low blow. B, why wouldn't he deserve it? He's got a lot of LAN experience, which, you know, some teams don't value these days. Well. G2. Yeah, I was going to say he's young. He still has a lot of potential, and I think that
he's got time on his hands.
I was going to say, and if Steel can find a new team, why can't Bolt?
Oh, but Steel's lovely.
I love Steel. Every time I see him, I just feel happy.
Yeah, his smile lights up the world, doesn't it?
It's
homo,
the sort of thing you want Steel around. You just want him around. Like, you'd want him to be your neighbour because you know that every morning when you're leaving for work or whatever, he'd pop his head out the window and he'd be like, "Bye," and you'd be like, "Oh, bye," and you'd just be you'd have just a really nice life if he's just there as like a presence.
Yeah, I think he's a solid player. To be honest, I think he sort of got. I don't think he should have been kicked from SK. Like,
I mean, he wasn't exactly doing well.
But I just feel like the team needed a bit of a break, talk about their issues, do a nice long boot camp, freshen up their strategies, get a bit of motivation going.
I think that's an interesting point that you do raise, that teams don't ever take breaks.
Oh no, they don't.
If a team has let's like with Mouse Sports, You're playing event after event after event after event after event, and you're wondering why you can't fix your problems. Well,
Look at
it's because you
Astralis.
don't have
They
time to
skip
fix your problems.
tournaments. They will never do two
Yeah,
tournaments in a row. They'll skip tournaments and change their strategies, fix their
yeah, like with
problems.
last year, before obviously before the betrayal, Astralis skipped ESL One Cologne, the biggest event that isn't a major, in order to prepare for a major. They weren't thinking, oh, it's money, or oh, we have to go to a LAN. It's like, okay, we're gonna focus our efforts because
Was that
you can't
focusing
be
for the
100% at
PGL
all.
major?
Yeah.
That worked. They got smashed by Gambit.
Yeah, but you know what? Gambit was just on a tear. You cannot prepare
Hobbit
for
was just
Zeus
just
charging it.
doing his thing. Zeus was screaming Bliat, Dozy was sitting there eating chocolate and waving to the fans. Like, it's already won a major in my heart. Where do you think Boltzit should end up on then? What teams? Like LG's your obvious answers. Team 1.
To be honest, my knowledge,
MIBR.
the irony if they then brought him back would
MI
be just
Brooklyn. Sorry.
so hilarious. But I don't know because, like I say, my knowledge of Brazilian teams isn't exactly brilliant. I won't lie to you. But
Of my
he will
ears.
find a place somewhere.
It's really funny because when you said my knowledge of Brazilian teams isn't brilliant, because Brazilian and brilliant sound very similar when said quickly. My knowledge of brilliant teams isn't Brazilian. I was very confused, but I'm with you now. Yeah, I think Team 1, LG, or MIBR are the only three relevant teams besides Ince, and Ince is just sort of like, he's not going to go back there, is he? Like,
Well,
I
probably
like
not.
Cello. I think Cello's a really solid player.
I'm pretty sure he was listed as one of the talents like last year as a
Yeah,
rising talent.
he was on LG. He's a very solid player. He left LG to join bloody KNG's team, which is a big decision. But he is a solid player. Cello. He'll be in the MIBR mix one day, made in Brooklyn, whatever you want to call it. Um, yeah, so he's a good player. Bolts should be getting into a few teams, and now we're going to move over. Before carrying on the roster move kind of theme,
We're going to very relevant teams.
moving over to North America now. So get ready for a bit of fun. We're going across the pond for the peasants across the pond, as we like to call it. Got Dazzle being benched on E United for Snake Cooper. Sorry, no, I'm joking. I don't understand what's going on, to be honest. The team have
I
just been.
never understand NA.
I'm sorry, but what is going on? What is going on through FNS's? Let's say it's his call. He's cutting, right? He's got Relics or Dazzle. Well, we've got a star player with a lot of potential. He's very highly rated in North America. We've got the old IGL who might be okay as a role player, but nothing more. Has picked up the AWP in the past, but we're literally signing an AWP, so that shouldn't really be a factor. Yeah, let's get rid of Dazzle. Hang on a minute. Why are you getting
Yeah.
rid of Dazzle? Everyone has said how mad this move is. Dazzle is a really good player. Moose and Dazzle is really good players, honestly. You get him with FNS and Cooper, that's four parts of a really good team. And I can't remember who their fifth is, actually. In all honesty. Can you remember who United's fifth?
No.
Okay, it's fine, I'll get it up.
Relics Dapper Moose Cooper.
Dapper, that's it, Dapper. And he was like, oh, we wouldn't cut Dapper because he has potential. He doesn't have half the bloody potential Dazzle does. Dapper failed on bloody GX. Like, come on. Like, oh my days. Cutting Dazzle.
But
Can't.
that is the joy of NA.
However, there is a silver lining. Dazzle said that this is potential. They're going to try this lineup out for a month. If it doesn't work, then they'll swap out Relics and Dazzle. I think that's kind of the plan.
Oh, okay, that makes more sense then.
It makes it's like instead of saying, well, this is completely nonsensical or this is 70% nonsensical, because how is a team going to show their true face within a month of practice?
You just look. FNS was given a month, and
He
you
was
know what?
He was given 4 practice days. 4.
Yes, well, plenty of time in the
I think it was
eyes
like
of,
he had
the
he had like 8 proper like boot camp days, 4 nothing days, and the rest were tournaments. And he was cut after 2 months of that. Like, what an... Oh.
That is, to
America...
be honest, a really shitty deal.
It's like... Oh, I don't know. I feel horrible for the bloke. He's a nice guy. He does a really good podcast, Peaks Advantage, with like Davey and Semphis, and that's a good podcast. We've had some good guests on, and that's actually the level that things have got to now, where FNS has just been cut after 2 months. I still find it hilarious.
I just, as I say earlier, I understand that organisations are businesses and that primarily you're wanting to generate money. Obviously, you're not putting a team together just so that you can take nice photos or send people on very expensive holidays to various places. But you do sometimes it does need a bit more time than I think a lot of organisations are willing to give, and I think that causes a lot of these weird shifts where you just go, wait a minute, you've had a player for all of about a month, and you're like, nah, get rid of you.
Yeah, it just doesn't really enter the sense and make much sense to me, to be honest. Like, teams deserve time, you know. Rome wasn't built in a day. So, Cooper, Dazzle, don't understand that. And now we're going to go to the real doldrums of NA. If you thought United was bad, we're going out of the Pro League now. We're going to Swole Patrol, who have announced that because they have Swag, who's banned from majors, in the minor online, oh, I think it's online closed qualifiers, Som will be standing in. The 16/17-year-old FPL got kicked from it because he was chucking nades at AWPs on Nuke. Never actually shown any potential with any team that he's been. Been highly rated for ages, never actually shown any of it, even online.
Although he is only like what
16,
7,
yeah,
16.
yeah, but in 2 years' time, he'd be expected to be like really good. Like, I'm 16, I still have high standards for myself and my writing.
Yeah, but then at the same time, now you're harsh, but don't take it this way.
Here we go.
But
Here we
in
go.
2 years' time, you will look back at your writing at 16 and be like, oh, wow, what was I doing? In the same
Yeah,
way, when
well,
you're
obviously.
18 and you look back when you're 20, you'll be thinking, oh, what was I doing? Because actually, no matter how much you practice or work on something, when you're 16, you will never be fully proficient in it.
But have
And
you
even
heard
when
how
you're 18,
egotistical
you won't
Son
be
is, though?
fully. Hmm?
There's loads of rumours of Son being really egotistical and toxic, though.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that
Well, he's 16, like, you know.
mentality thing is far more of a problem than a skill
Look, the
ceiling
fact is,
or anything
I
like
don't understand why a team that is like, I am going to make Pro League at the Global Challenge and there is no other alternative, suddenly going, yeah, we'll have Son, why not? What the hell? If old guy's club, who is literally 4 out of 5 of summer 2015 C9 with silence in there, can do that, then what the hell's going on?
But then the weird thing is that Son was playing for Old Guys Club, and
Oh
the last
yeah.
game he played were against Swole Patrol. So it's also a bit of a, huh? Did they just play the game and then went, oh, we need him?
Ooh, it's been a slow news week, but we've had a Decay article.
Ooh.
So, it's a mailbag part 2. Here we go. Discussing Mibba. Snacked. Right. I don't expect to move for Navi till after the major. If they're placed well there, I could totally see them keeping the 5-man lineup. Someone from NA, like Brax, if he's allowed at Blast, will be standing in for Fur. It's purely up to
Interesting.
Stewie and Tarek, though, apparently.
That's kind of weird though that it's up to
Snacks
them.
is just riding the bench. Very high buyouts and no one. What's next for Bolts? Good question. Haven't heard anything about him. Oh well. I'm trying to find. Okay, is there a possibility that Taco goes back to MLB on price for? I don't think so. At least not anytime soon.
Why would he? Like the thing is, as much as it would be nice for him to like go back to his old team where they, basically wore him down and the community then ripped him a new one because he wasn't putting up cold zero numbers. On Team Liquid, people at least value him. Even like the community has kind of gone, oh, Taco does stuff.
So it's looking to see with Liquid, not really roster change rumours, but there's obviously a lot of discomfort in the team.
It's kind of interesting. I'm just looking through it and about Bialy and Snacks.
Yeah, I mean,
The fact that like literally DK goes, the two of them have burned a number of bridges with people in the Polish scene, and they don't intend to play with each other, as far as I know. So it's this. You get the sense of, oh, they were riding high on VP and they were doing quite well for themselves. They pissed off the wrong people.
yeah, I don't know. Don't know. Don't think that's. I think Snacks is a solid player, but
What? What? Sorry, in which year? In this year? The Lord's 2018.
well, okay. Okay, what would stop him from being good now compared to being
The
better?
fact that you put him onto Mouse Sports, who were like a solid team, and he still couldn't really do much. And even though they won ESL1 New York,
That's
that
because
again,
he's been on
it's like the final
for
death.
ages.
It's the final
What would
death
his
moment.
mentality have been?
Motivated to do better would be like a
He's gonna have
sensible
zero
mentality.
confidence. He's gonna have zero confidence after being
He
on.
doesn't strike me as the sort of guy that becomes very modest and doesn't really believe in his skills.
Fair
When I
enough.
met him at ESL1 Cologne, yeah, that interview never came out.
Oh, why not?
He was very sort of he seemed comfortable and confident. He wasn't going, oh well, after all this time on VP, I just feel like I cannot play the game. No, he thought he was.
So what happened with the Snacks
He
interview?
wasn't.
Are you allowed to say on podcast now?
Oh yeah, no, it was just that because it was my first ever event and my first time doing interviews, and the videographer I was with didn't have a mic. Very busy press room, lots of noise, camera with its like built-in microphone. You couldn't really hear anything of the interview.
So you're just there like, I'm sorry, Janusz, but you're gonna have to go because we don't have good infrastructure at this point.
No, we just did the interview anyway, just to get a bit of a test run because we'd missed Astralis earlier because of tech issues as well.
Fair
So
enough.
it was a bit like, let's just have a dry run of this and see
Alright.
how it goes. But
Fair
yeah, so
enough.
yeah.
It's been a slow news week, so we're not going to cut this podcast now. We have one more topic, which is the Star Series Season 7. All the invites have been made, and the team list will now be going on the screen. I'm just going to read it out, so you don't have to Google it, or if you've already seen it, whatever. And if people are listening audio only, then you don't have to worry about that. So you got Wild. This is a Brazilian team. Liquid, MIBR, Mouse Sports, NIP, NRG, Tyloo, FaZe, Ents, North, Navi, Fnatic, Big. Then there's a Europe qualifier, an NA qualifier, and an Asian qualifier. So we're getting Renegades from the Asian qualifier. North America, there's no C9 there. So if they've fixed their issues, then they might join. But what are you thinking with that team list? Do you want me to copy?
No, I've got it up. You see,
That's Group A
I
and Group B,
feel
by the way, on the left and the right.
I don't have the stream
What I
up.
think. Is it? I'm not sure. It might not be. I don't know. Ignore me. Oh yeah, they haven't drew the groups. What I'm on about. Right. Those are the teams.
I feel like I haven't seen Navi play in ages, but I don't know whether that's just my mind playing tricks on me because I can't remember when the last time they played was and whether they looked.
They weren't at the ECS Season 6 finals. That's for sure. The last time that Navi played, I'm getting up on HLTV.
Chicago.
No, they played.
They had
they played
online
online
games. They had
games.
online games.
They've-
Yeah, I was talking LAN, obviously.
Oh well, yeah. They've had 2 online games to Big, in which
But
Kane.
they had Kane, yeah.
Because Electronics had the kid, hasn't it? Electronics had a kid.
I loved Kane's performance on Cash. I think it was brilliant.
Did he not get a
felt
kill?
very inspired. No, and I felt very inspired because I now believe that I too can do quite well in the pro scene.
0-19.
And also Zeus there with 5 kills more. And you do think you have an entire teammate not getting any kills. How have you got 5 Zeus? Please. Maybe someone was beating him up during this game, and that explains the bruises.
Well, yeah. Navi were eliminated by Big at Chicago as well.
Oof.
Just 2. And they
Kinda
lost to
weird,
Inferno
though.
again.
Considering Big,
Electronic
Got-
got poor rating actually there.
I suppose he had other things on his mind, didn't he?
Yeah. My girlfriend is... No, I can't do a Russian accent. My girlfriend's...
Oh dear, yeah. No.
My girlfriend is 9 months pregnant. I'm not worried. Literally. No, congratulations to Electronic though, young lad. Hope him and his family have a good, lasting and long life. And you
Well,
know
yes.
what?
I was gonna say, yeah, I agree. I can't go, well, do you know what? Let's debate that. No, I hope they don't have
Yeah.
a long life. No.
I hope they have a horrible. No, joking.
They have a horrible and short and painful life like the rest of us. No, I'm kidding.
Oh, it's alright. You live in the south, so you're obviously gonna have a horrible life.
Oh gosh, yeah, being surrounded by proper schools is.
Getting surrounded by nothing and horses and Tory supporters.
You know what? We have hunting down here, so
Oh my
you
god.
know.
You see why everyone else in the country dislikes you?
The thing
Because
is, we
not
have so
only
much
do you-
money we can't hear you.
But you're also so... Okay, we're gonna stop having our little mini civil war.
I'm kidding. I have no money. Just I should set up a
I
Patreon. and just
honestly
take
have less money than you. I can guarantee you that for a fact.
I'm deep in my overdraft. Should I just set up a Patreon? I'll do one of those. Oh, what's it? The adult things where it's like, oh yeah, I'll send you photos of my flaps if you give me money, because that's apparently a thing these.
Anyway, back to CS. All right. No, right. Some weird
You
stuff
what? You
going on.
disagree with the whole adult Patreon stuff?
I don't have an opinion on adult Patreon stuff.
Oh, I thought you'd subscribe to them or something.
No. Nah. I'm not Jamaican, I don't look at pit girls online. Sorry,
Ooh. That would explain why he has no money. Yeah.
Oh, it's alright, I don't have any money anyway. Which is probably not an appropriate thing to say at the time. But I actually don't have any money because... yeah, I don't. I spend it. I'm a victim to consumerism. And also Haribo Supermix. Anyway.
Super mix. I'm
Supermix.
disappointed in you.
Look, the
Tang
vending...
Fastics are where
They
it's
are,
at.
but there's the vending machines in my school have Supermix. For £1.50, which is extortion.
Sorry, I was gonna say they're £1 in my shop, and you say everything's.
No, this is a
Oh,
leisure centre vendors though, because our school's attached to a
but-
leisure centre.
Yes, but you say that up north things are cheap and all that sort of stuff.
Right,
We
so
have money
thank
down here and
you.
we don't charge 150. 150
Thank you for
150.
tuning in to Under the Scope with Midlands boy Dom of ESN Esports, ESNesports.com, the premium esports content providers in CSGO and League of Legends, and then RealSport101.com's Dualism. Their website produces content in just about anything going, so check that out. Our Twitters are in the description, some links you can check out as well, because web traffic is always a good thing for us, follows are always a good thing, subscribe to the channel, peace out, thanks for listening.